My name is Barry Allen. And I am the fastest man alive.
Listen to me. There's a war coming. A terrible war.
You have failed this city.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 24 of the Fandom Zone. I am your host for this episode, Karen, and I am here with my co-host, Charles.
Hello.
And he is in Arkham Asylum today.
Yes, I am. Inmate number 4578.
That's right. And
show.
I am just here. But I'm raring to go.
That's a completely different asylum.
That's right. That's an asylum of my own making.
And the Riddler says hi.
The Riddler is here. He is in his snazzy blue suit today.
Green suit.
Is it green?
Yeah, he wears green.
Teal.
No, well, it's the lighting, but it's green.
Okay.
Yeah,
it looks kind of teal to me.
His theme is always green and purple. That's his.
Yeah, I
that's
know.
his motif. So yeah, it's supposed to be green and purple.
But he's only got one question mark on.
Well, that's the animated series version.
Okay.
So yeah, they make
Just on his tie.
because they were cheap on the animation. So yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
It's easier just to fill it in.
I love Batman the animated series, but their animation was just a little bit weak.
Yeah, just a little bit.
And it's not aging well either. But,
No, not so much.
But the stories are so good. So.
Yeah. And speaking of Batman, tonight
yes.
we will be talking about the pilot of Gotham. Yep, the series. Since we didn't talk about Gotham on the show.
Well, we talked about Gotham,
sure.
but we only hit like the back end of the season.
Yeah, the very last few episodes.
So yeah, we had this opening. And we're like, well, let's go back and do the pilot because we haven't talked about it. So
that's right. And we're going to talk about the 11th episode of Birds of Prey Reunion. I was going to say the first season, but there's really only one
season.
So yeah, the 11th episode. And the 11th out of 13. So there's only 2 more after this.
You're almost done, people.
That's right.
You can give yourselves a sticker. It says, I survived the Birds of Prey recap.
That's right. I like discussing these episodes personally. So I think it's fun.
Not many people have. It's kind of a, it's one of those shows that hasn't really been covered much because it was kind of like pre-podcast, a lot of pre-Wikia. So
right. And it got lost in all the shuffle of things like Smallville and Supernatural that kind of, loomed over it.
Dominated.
When it came to people latching on to superhero and supernatural shows.
Yeah, Supernatural's on what, season 50 now? I forget.
It's past 10.
It's up there. It's past Smallville, which was a hell of an achievement there. Yeah.
Yeah. Very crazy.
Just
but it
die.
Yeah, it got caught up in that era of show that, it just kind of got lost in the shuffle. And it was around the time that like Buffy came on and things like that, and that really garnered a lot of fans that are rabid about it. And Birds of Prey just kind of faded into the background. So it's nice to be able to talk about it, I think. Especially it's part of the DC continuum, part of the canon.
Right.
Whether, we agree with everything they've done with it or not, they acknowledge it as part of the canon, at least as kind of an Elseworlds kind of story.
And it was a groundbreaking show because it was like the first group-led superhero show.
Right. A female team. Yeah.
Right.
So, and we still haven't really seen that again.
Sadly, not yet. Although we are getting Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones, we're getting Supergirl, and we're getting the Legends, which is going to have a strong female.
Yeah, because
character on it.
you've got the White Canary, you've got Hawk Girl,
Right?
and you'll probably see some other people, I'm sure.
That's right. And while there are strong female characters on Arrow, they're definitely not leads. I mean, Arrow overshadows all that. But I think Legends is going to be more of a team-based show. So it's going to be interesting to see how the females play out on that show. Not that it matters to me. I mean, I enjoy seeing female characters being written well. But honestly, if it's just written well, period, then I'm glad. I mean, I don't want them to go out of their way to make a female character if it's not going to be written well.
Right.
Just write a story well, and I'll be happy about it. So.
And if it's just happens to be a female led show that's written well, bonus.
Then hooray! Yeah. Right. I just whatever character that you're into, writer wise, you have to kind of be into it. If you want to make it worth something. Oh, and Agent Carter, I forgot about Agent.
Yeah, we forgot about Agent Carter.
Yeah,
sorry everybody.
That's done rather well too. So
I enjoy Agent Carter a lot.
I like it as kind of a noir-y.
I'm a little nervous because it's shifting location to LA for season 2, but all the cast is going to be coming back, so it's just going to be everybody in LA. Right.
So. Well, it doesn't look bad what they're doing.
No.
Yeah. And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has been consistently good. So let's.
And there's a lot of female characters in that. You've got
strong
Agent May, you've got Daisy / Sky, Mockingbird. So there's a lot of strong female characters in that.
They know how to write. I mean, Joss keeps getting asked about that, and he's tired of it. But he knows how to write characters. Period.
Right.
So he's good with that.
So
it doesn't matter if female, male, whatever. He's good with it. I'm not gonna bug him about it. But
you're not gonna call him up on the Whedon phone under the cake dish.
No.
And
it never occurred to me that he wrote female characters well. I just thought he's really good with all his characters.
Right.
Until someone brought it up, and then I was like, why do you even point that out? It's just all his characters are good. Until
he kills them and makes you cry.
Yeah, well, he does that with male characters too.
I know.
Wash. So, yeah.
My wife Lori still hates that Wash was killed.
Yeah, me too. I don't like it. Well, I don't hate it because it was it meant something.
It's been 10 years since the Serenity film already? And it still bugs her. We just watched it like a couple weeks ago, and she was still like, Whedon.
I almost have to close my eyes in that scene because I'm like, no, it can't be true.
And it's more tragic now if you have read the Serenity comic written by, which is apparently in canon because it's written by Jed Whedon.
Right.
Or is it Zach Whedon? One of those. One of the Whedons.
It's his brother.
Yeah, so I think it's Zach. But it revealed that Wash and
Zoe,
thank you. They got preggers and had a baby.
Yeah.
And then Wash died, and he never met it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I know. Cry.
She's all single mama.
Yeah. The art on those covers was really good.
Yeah.
So,
Birds of Prey. As we digress, I keep waiting for Blaine to show up.
We didn't really digress. We hadn't ever gotten started. It's
a very long introduction. How's that?
That's right. But, we're talking about comic book stuff. We're the fandom zone.
It's what we do.
That's right. So let's get into the actual meat of our episode this week. Let's start with Birds of Prey.
Okay.
Reunion. And this title is dead on. Which is a good thing. Some of them haven't made sense. This one actually does. Reunion.
Right.
And there's no double meaning to it.
No, it's exactly as advertised on the label.
Exactly. This is a reunion. It's written again by Kitsis and Horowitz from Once Upon a Time. Directed by Chris Long, who, as I mentioned before, he directed Smallville, The Mentalist, Gilmore Girls, and Lois and Clark. So he's into the comic book stuff, and then supernaturally things, and then Gilmore Girls.
Which is awesome. I love Gilmore Girls.
Did you? I've never seen it.
Oh, the dialogue is so sharp.
Yeah, I've heard that.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, I like the two leads.
Yeah,
the mother-daughter.
Yeah,
that star in it, but I've never.
It's great. I highly recommend it.
Okay, maybe I'll go and watch it. So this episode is about the high school. What is it? New Gotham High School?
New Gotham High.
Okay. And it is the class that Helena was in. Just a coincidence.
Yeah.
Has to be.
I think it's like their 5th year anniversary reunion because they talk about, they do mention that Helena's like 23 in this episode. So that would be about right for a 5th year reunion.
Right. And she apparently really liked school.
Yeah.
She was cheerleader and popular and everything.
She was the leader of the pep squad.
Right. But then Batman, Catwoman, daddy issues happened.
Yeah.
And now I made a summary of the episode and Charles wants me to read it because he thinks it's very funny.
I think it's funny.
So I will read it and then we'll discuss as I go through. Yeah, I think it's kind of funny. So here's my first line. Helena's reunion. Gibson was in her class? ? Bras are taking over the bar.
Hey,
Peg the geek as the bad guy yet? Duh.
Yeah. Duh.
Now they are trying to give us Jack as the bad guy.
Jack Barrett.
It's dumb. Yeah, it's dumb because if you've watched any TV at all, you know Jack's not the bad guy.
Right.
It's the geek.
It's always the geek wanting revenge.
Right.
Because
or being in love with someone. And in this case, it's both.
And especially back in 2003, that the geeks always had to be the villains.
Right. Always.
They were never the cool heroes.
Right.
So this is like, before all the like hacker characters on every like CBS show.
Right. Now, mind you, the Special Forces Jack, Boy Scouty guy,
Jack Barrett,
doesn't end up to save the day.
No.
Which back then might have happened on a show like this. He doesn't even help. He's helpless.
Yeah, he's the damsel in distress.
Right. He is the red herring.
Yeah.
Throughout the episode. Okay. Wade and Barbara at dinner with the Rents.
Yeah.
They don't want him to be with her. Suckage. I wrote.
Now, on that subject, do you get the feeling we've heard this before? Because this whole thing about that Barbara being upset because Wade's parents didn't think that Wade should be with her because she's paralyzed. It came up before in episode 6, Primal Scream. So I'm wondering if this episode reunion was something that was originally slotted for earlier in the season, because in Primal Scream, she talked about being still upset about it and trying to dodge Wade. And we were like, well, okay, where did this come from?
Or that one was meant to be later.
I don't know, something like that. So
because she outs herself as Helena in this episode.
Yeah, so I think, something happened that I think this episode got shuffled out of order or something. Or at least,
I'm guessing.
Or maybe rewritten for.
Maybe rewritten.
Yeah. Like it was an earlier episode, they decided it wasn't working, so they backburnered it, finished it up, and updated it.
Right.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Just wondering.
Yeah, because there's a weird juxtaposition there with it. His parents are dill holes.
Pretty much.
Let me put it that way.
Especially Wade's mom.
Yeah, she is. And I'm going to go into the cast after we discuss the thing because she's a pretty famous actress. Yeah. We're back to the Super Bras.
Super Bra.
Super Bra is dead after their incessant party night.
New Gotham High. Woo! Woo! That's the track team. That's what they are. They're a track team
right. But
they're like,
I call them super bras.
And they're like singing the school song, which I didn't know, like, it's not the 50s anymore. Like,
no.
Do high schools actually have school songs?
They do. Mine had a school song.
Yeah, people actually know the school song?
There were people that knew our school song.
Really? I'm surprised.
Not me, but
it just seems like a little dated to me.
Like the Pep Squad and stuff knew
exactly.
it.
Like they still have Pep Squads?
Mm-hmm. With fake guns, like the wooden guns that they twirled and everything in our high school. It was horrible. Yeah, they wanted us to learn the school song because I was in the elite choir, the madrigals.
Okay.
And we said, no, we don't do that sort of thing. We only did like a cappella, like classical type stuff. Madrigals. I mean,
interesting.
We were into the Alleluias and all that stuff. So,
and Karen's like, I'm done talking with about this conversation.
Yes, I am done.
Let's move along.
Because I'm really making myself sound bad. So I also quoted this line after they find out about this death. They've cited the cause of death as an alcohol-related accident. And then the follow-up is funny. It's probably the cause of his birth, too. Which I enjoyed.
He checked out just like he came into the world.
Right. Alcohol-related. Which made me laugh. Okay, Helena doesn't want to go to the reunion, but she liked high school before all the Batman, Catwoman shiz, I wrote.
Yeah.
She doesn't want daddy's billions either, I wrote. Because this is when Alfred comes in and reveals that she is worth billions. And I'm guessing Alfred is taking care of all that for her.
Which you would think they would have picked up on already because, hey, there's a butler following you around.
Yeah. Well, they do know.
Yeah, I mean Barbara knew.
Right. And Dinah says something. She says, well, aren't you worth millions?
Yeah.
And that's when Alfred comes in and goes, billions, actually.
Billions.
And he's got a tray and cookies and whatever.
Scones.
Talking to them, yeah. Well, this one he comes in and he doesn't have tea and stuff on it. He's got something else. But, he's puttering, cleaning up. Whatever. He's got a little feather duster.
Picking up their crap because they're too lazy.
Right. Then we flash to the street and Wade has approached Babs again and she's given him the brush off after overhearing his parents being douchebags. That's what I wrote. He's bringing her tulips and things like that.
I brought you a flower.
Right. And she's really resisting it. Poor Babs.
Yep.
I said.
And she's probably feeling guilty.
Yeah.
Like, I'm paralyzed.
Sure.
Mopey, sad Babs.
Yeah. Well, why wouldn't she?
Yeah, pretty much.
And also very angry at his parents.
Yeah.
Which is rightfully so, I say. Reese and Helena are at the scene. Reese wants to follow up on the Dark Horse bar lead. So Helena has to ask for the night off. So she won't out herself.
Right.
And
her boss Leonard
is hilarious.
Yeah.
He says, I'm trying to class up the joint. I'm trying to do stuff that will bring people in. And she says, well, lap dances will bring people in. Are you going to do that? Well, I don't know. Are you going to give lap dances?
I think that might be considered sexual harassment, but
yeah. But as he reveals later, he's gay. So
yeah, is that really sexual harassment then? Yeah.
He's got that out.
Good point.
Right. He finally gives her the night off. But apparently she asks for a lot of nights off, which, of course, because she's out fighting crime.
Exactly.
There's as she leaves the bar, Cam, the geek, approaches her and they talk. And she says something to the effect of, well, if I do go to the reunion, I'll look you up. I'll run into you, but I got to go right now.
Got things to do.
Right. So there's another geek versus bra scene. where the bra spills a drink on him on purpose, and Jack intervenes, which is another.
Even though he's like a Fortune 500 guy,
right.
like the geek got rich and became.
They still don't notice me.
Yeah, like, oh, he's such a klutz, because they make a big deal about him being a klutz, and which we'll find out why.
Duh. And then Jack, the Boy Scout, intervenes again. And it's another attempt to red herring him. And this is the weak link for me in this episode, is them really trying to red herring him.
Yeah.
And just completely failing, completely falling short on the mystery of who it is. Because it's no Cam right from the get-go.
Well, yeah, and there was no real build-up with the guy.
Right. None.
Yeah.
No, it's Cam from the start.
Pretty much, if you're paying attention.
Yeah. It's never Jack. They could have just taken Jack completely out of this episode and it would have been fine.
Probably.
I didn't need that red herring mystery that was a non-mystery. Okay. Dinah Barbara point out that Helena has no secret identity.
I love this discussion. Because
yeah.
Dinah's calling Helena out for not having. She's like, no glasses, no mask. Obviously a Clark Kent nod.
Right. A Clark Kent, a Batman, a Catwoman nod. And Alfred comes in and they say, what about you, Alfred? What do you think? And he says, no, I've always thought a mask was essential in having a secret identity. He chimes in.
But then he backs her up, backs Helena up.
Right.
He defends her.
Right, exactly.
It's like, that's what she wants. Then, well, he says, like if she feels okay, like it's okay with me as long as she's okay with not having a secret identity. Right.
Whatever she's doing, if it works for her,
right,
then it's all good. And then I think it's Barbara that says, hi, it's not like, okay, look, I'm not saying you should tattoo hi, I'm Helena Kyle across your forehead. I'm just saying that if you can trust Reese, ... And I kind of dig that because it's definitely foreshadowing for the end. And this was actually a good foreshadowing. It wasn't hey, you're going to out yourself at the end of the episode. That was something I wasn't sure was going to happen.
Yeah, it wasn't very obvious.
Guarded. Right. She is very guarded about that. So another bra's dead.
Yep.
Next, and it's a stockbroker.
Stuart Thompson.
That's right. Cam takes the stock tip and uses it, which I thought was going to be the thing that
I love that. I just love
catch him on. Yeah.
He's just like, I'm making this big deal. Oh, I'm dead. Oh, thanks for the stock tip. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Right. They try to red herring it to Jack again because they make him Delta Force.
Right.
And then I said, but again, it's Cam. Gibb goes undercover as Helena's date. Lol. I said. It's funny. They notice a shimmer and they connect it to being klutzy. And I said, duh, because Cam. Again, all in caps there. And not only, we know it's because he's been picked on, and this is where they reveal that it's because he's in love with Helena as well.
Kind of stalking her, really.
Right. And after he pinches her butt as well.
I thought it was a full smack on the butt.
Yeah, whatever.
It's like right on their ass. And then poor Gibson, who just happens to be standing there.
Yeah.
When invisible camouflage guy comes up behind, smacks her on the ass, and then, she looks around at Gibson and is like, Gibson's like, wait a minute, I didn't do anything.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, telegraphing, his nickname is Cam.
Camouflage.
Right.
That should have been his initial.
Camouflage.
My name is Camouflage.
Right.
Or Cam Elian.
Oh.
Cam Elian.
Exactly. Yeah. They call him a chameleon too throughout the episode. So Reese is at the reunion as well. Of course, he's not seeing Helena throughout this whole thing. Helena.
Yeah.
Whatever. And one of the drunk bras is telling Reese
I love this guy. Craig Finn. I wrote because I looked at his little name tag.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like, dude, there's this girl named Helena Kyle.
She's such a hot bartender.
She's a hot bartender at the, she's at the Dark Horse bar.
Right. And this leads Reese to connect everything back to her.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, she's the connection, but she's not really the connection. Mm-hmm. I mean, sort of.
Right.
But not.
Well, Reese
really.
kind of thinks that maybe this Helena Kyle is the killer.
Right. Right. She is a connection to the murder, but she's not what Reese thinks.
Yeah.
So Dinah is following Jack,
mm-hmm.
I guess to keep him out of trouble, and she has to go in the bathroom. And I don't know what that scene's all about.
I think it was probably a deleted scene. Like they were going to do more with it, but they ran out of time or something.
Yeah.
They cut it because they made a big deal. Like Dinah's like, I want to go in the men's bathroom.
Right.
And Oracle's like, just get in that damn men's bathroom.
And when she comes out, these two pervs run into her in the hallway and they look her over like, oh yeah. Like, they do like this. Look at this thing. And she's in high school.
Doesn't matter. Guys are jerks.
Still, dude. It's just wrong.
And apparently every guy at this reunion is a jerk.
Is a bra.
Or either a bra or a loser geek guy that kills people.
Or Gibson.
Well, yeah, Gibson's about the best this reunion has to offer.
Right.
In terms of guys. Well,
and he's just like...
Well, there's Jack Barrett, but he's like square.
Yeah. Gibson's on that border of cool and loser geek.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's a geek, but he's actually turned it into cool.
Yeah, he was kind of like a geek at the beginning of the episode because he was like actively trying to ask Helena out. And she's like, no, dude, that's not happening. And then ends up going to the reunion later with him as
but as a beard.
As a beard,
essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah. I know you're laughing at me, but
that's funny.
Okay, so Drunk Bra tells Reese Helena is this hot bartender at Dark Horse. He tries. He's thinking that she's the murderer. So Dinah's following Jack. Helena's trying to find Cam.
Mm-hmm.
Barbara is trying to get something together to make him look normal. Cam leads Helena to a bomb, and it's got liquid in it. Oracle gives Dinah some weird something, a gas or something that makes Cam visible.
Yep.
And we never really get huge...
It's this magic disc that somehow negates his powers. Right.
And we never get a huge explanation about that. Just, here you go. This will make him visible.
Well, they were working on it. They show him working on it earlier.
With Gibson,
yeah. They're kind of tinkering with something, and then they give it to Dinah, apparently, and Dinah's like, fling, okay.
Who is no longer following Jack for some reason.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, somehow Dinah figures out that, oh, by the way, there's something going on in the classroom. Chemistry classroom.
Right. So they make Cam visible and everyone runs out of the room because Oracle says the bomb's ticking down. You can't do anything about it. Leaves the room. So Cam, being visible, can't stop her from leaving now. Mm-hmm. And they leave him in the room with the bomb. And then
after he slips on a book.
Right.
Because they knock over a bookcase and there's a book.
Because reading bad.
And he's a klutz.
Right.
So, of course, it's like, wah.
Right.
Oh no, I'm trapped in the room with no.
Right. And then I'm melting. And he turns into
what a world.
He turns into this pile of ash. And it's because the disc interacted with the stuff in the bomb or something.
Magic.
Right.
Because it happened.
And then for some reason that we are never told in the episode, apparently Helena had a crush on Jack in high school. We are never told this throughout the whole episode, but she goes to talk to Jack.
No, we were told this earlier in the episode.
Were we?
Yeah, we were. That she had a crush on Jack.
Okay.
Yeah, that was after she's talking about her dad issues.
Okay.
So
it was kind of skimmy though.
Yeah, because Oracle just did it as an aside. She's like, oh, and by the way, she had this major crush on Jack Barrett in high school.
Okay.
So yeah.
So it was just a very short thing because I didn't really catch it. So she walks up to Jack and they talk, and she realizes she's a different person now, and she doesn't like Jack like she used to. But, they have this little Jack is moving back to town and maybe you'd like to catch up sort of thing. And she's like, oh, I don't know. And she looks over and sees Reese.
Mm-hmm.
And she decides, no, I'm not that person anymore. And so
I have someone else in my life.
Right. She extricates herself and goes to talk to Reese.
Good
and
verb.
She outs herself.
Good verb, extricates.
Yeah. Thank you.
I like that.
And she outs herself to Reese, and she admits that she is Helena Kyle, and Helena Kyle is the huntress. And blood out.
And then she says, I'm a bartender by day and a metahuman vigilante by night.
That's right.
And Reese is like, okay, that's nice.
Yep. There's not a huge reaction. He just says, all right.
And that's how the episode ends. It just trails off awkward like that.
Yep. That's why I said blah now, because that's pretty much it. End credits. Da, 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 da,
that's all, folks. Okay.
Okay, now let's discuss the cast.
Okay.
Real quick.
I got
Robert Patrick Benedict.
Okay.
As Gilzin again.
Let's discuss the cast, and then I've got just a couple of things I want to add about the episode.
Okay.
But we can discuss the cast first.
Do you want to add the stuff first?
Okay. All right.
Go ahead.
Since we're talking about it.
Okay.
Let's see. We had the here I thought I had something. The Cam, one of the things I thought was kind of creepy what Cam does, he shows up and licks Helena's face.
Yeah, gross, right?
Just like, and he just like a big slurp.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was kind of funny.
Gross.
And
what would you do if you were invisible? I would lick someone's face and then touch their butt.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, Cam's very much a creepo, big time.
Yeah.
And then let's see here. I'm just looking at my notes. Sorry.
It's all right.
And oh yeah, Reese. The one last thing. Reese looks in the yearbook to find out who Helena Kyle is, and the picture says, like no photo available.
Right.
And I'm thinking, Reese, apparently you don't know this, but apparently Helena was the captain of the pep squad and involved in all these extracurricular activities. So maybe if you were a good cop and detective, you would flip back to the back of the yearbook and there would be a lovely thing called an index. Mm-hmm. And then all you had to do, search for Helena Kyle's name, and then it would tell you the pages that she's on with, say, the pep squad or cheerleader or something.
Right.
And I'm guessing there are photos available for those that Helena Kyle is in.
Right. Or even just flip through those sections and look at the names underneath those pictures.
Right.
Because duh.
Yeah, because duh. Exactly.
Right.
I'm guessing,
he's not a good detective.
No, he's not. And I'm just like, really, dude?
Yeah.
Anybody who has a yearbook would know to look through the index in the back of the yearbook.
Right.
So that made me.
Because again, what? Duh.
Duh. Because duh. Duh.
Duh.
Duh. Okay, I'm done now.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm shutting up.
That's it?
That's it. That's all I had. Everything else.
Okay.
Everything else you covered. Everything else you covered brilliantly.
Okay, those are good points.
Thank you.
All right, so Robert Patrick Benedict is back as Gilzin, and I put a little left slash and a lowercase o and a right slash, like yay, with my arms up. That. J.P. Minot as Cameron Anderson. Now, he was on ER, but he was also on Community. Now, he played a pretty big part on Community. He played Phoebe.
Yeah.
Which was a Moby impersonator. And then he was recruited by, oh God, what's his name?
Which is kind of ironic because he looks a lot like the Dean.
Yeah. This is the thing.
Yeah, I haven't seen
what's the Asian guy's name?
Oh, Chang.
Chang. He was recruited by Chang. Senor Chang. He was recruited by Chang so that he could take over the school.
Yeah.
So he kidnapped the real dean, and he put this guy in charge of the school as the fake dean,
right?
As a figurehead, so that he could run the school. And he wore a a big, like a hat, like that short guy that put his hand in his jacket, the French guy.
Tattoo? Hervé Villechaize?
Old guy, from the Renaissance.
You mean yeah, I know what you're talking about. The painter, Toulouse-Lautrec.
I saw Elba. No.
Oh. I thought it was Toulouse-Lautrec.
The dictator.
Oh. Well, okay.
The short guy that
Mussolini?
He had his hand in his...
Oh, Napoleon.
Thank you. He had a Napoleon outfit on.
Okay.
So that he could rule the school. That was his thing.
I knew I'd get there eventually. Napoleon.
Yeah, thank you. Just so you guys know, I have a little bit of a headache. So that's why I'm
And the headache's name is Charles. No.
Yes. No, it's not. I'm naming it Sean.
Oh. We'll just leave that there, won't we? ...
Dot. Yeah. Yeah, so he wore a Napoleon outfit. He put this guy in as a fake dean after he recruited him at a party where he saw him as Phoebe. And I
love that name.
And then he took over the school. And then, the group caught him as the fake dean and went into this elaborate sort of hijink thing in order to...
That community does, yeah.
Find the real dean. And the real dean was tied up in the basement of the school in his underwear. And the real dean had a little doll that he had made that looked like Jeff that he was talking to. Because as we all know, he's in love with Jeff.
Right.
On the show. So he had Jeff there and he was pretending to like take tea with Jeff.
He crushes on Jeff.
Right. Anyway, it was a really fun role that he played on the show. So anyway, if you know that role, you know who this guy is.
I need to watch that episode. I don't think I've seen that episode.
He looks like
I don't think I've seen that episode.
You gotta see it.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
It's like the third episode from the end of season 3.
Come on,
it's very funny.
Netflix, get Community on there so I can.
And after all that happens, just before all that happens, Chang actually has them put in an insane asylum as they're called the Community College 5 or something because they're doing bad things. It's hilarious. Okay. It's the last thing before Dan Harmon leaves. For the season that never happened.
Yeah, so this would be the end of season 3 then.
Yeah. Isn't that what I said?
Probably.
Yeah, okay.
I probably
Yeah, and then they refer to season 4 as the year that there was a gas leak.
Right.
In the school. So it's hilarious. Anyway.
Yes.
Bob Clendon as Leonard, Helena's boss. And he's on Cougar Town, the middle, and the closer. He is a regular on Cougar Town, or was. Sean McGowan is Joni Norvolino, and that's the first guy dead. He's on Switched at Birth. He was in Oba, The Last Samurai, or the American name, Codename Fox.
Ooh.
So, yeah, a martial arts movie.
I'm sure everybody knows that one.
It actually had a lot of stars on IMDb.
And I'm a martial arts buff. I've never heard of that.
Never? No. It had name people.
I must have missed that one. Okay.
Okay, Nelson Asiento.
Mm-hmm.
Asiento.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, as Craig Finn.
Craig Finn.
Now, this guy, you like this guy. This is the drunk guy,
yes,
right?
Yes, the drunk guy. Yeah, he's hilarious.
Okay. He was a writer and performer on Mad TV for the whole run. Like a background guy, I guess, as a performer. But he wrote the whole time. And he is one of Octavia's people, like background people. His name is Flavio in the Hunger Games series.
Really?
In all of them. He stands like right behind her all the time in all the Hunger Games series. He's got his hair all painted up. And
interesting.
So, yeah. He's got like fans. I looked him up online and there's like people that are like Flavia and people dress up like him and everything. He's got cosplayers.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know. Now here we go with Wade's parents. Jennifer Darling plays Margaret, Wade's mother. I recognized her immediately. She was on The $6 Million Man and The Bionic Woman. And I remember her from The Bionic Woman because she ended up betraying them because she was like an android and her face opened up.
Oh, her.
Do you remember her?
Yes.
Okay, that was her on the show.
Holy moly.
And now she does a million voiceovers like Garfield and Cars and Ice Age and Spirited Away and all that. But she was the one whose face opened up and she was the bad guy.
Cool.
Way in the end of Bionic Woman.
Interesting.
And Noel Conlon played Joe, Wade's father, who hasn't done quite as much, but he's known for Poltergeist, Semi-Pro, My Sign Project, things like that. And you noted no Harley Quinn.
Yes. Again, no Harley Quinn. The subplot that just is MIA.
Never goes anywhere.
Nope.
Yeah. Which I'm guessing was supposed to be season 2.
Who knows? Or the season finale, of the 22 episode season finale that never became 22 episodes because the back 9 wasn't picked up.
Right.
Yeah.
So, for the people that write shows, don't put things off that you think are going to be important.
Exactly.
Don't do it.
As I said last week, or what did I say last week about the, I forget. It was something about putting it, don't blow it off. I forget that.
Right.
It was really, it was much cooler last week when I said it.
It was.
So go back to
I remember.
Go back to last week's podcast because I can't remember it. You remember the word? What I said?
No, not the words, but I remember you saying it.
Okay. All right.
If you feel like there's something that you want to write, don't put it off.
It was really profound.
It was.
And I should have wrote it down because it was.
And also Battle Cart.
Battle Cart. That was my 2 contributions to last week.
I love the Battle Cart.
Battle Cart is just awesome.
I know. Okay. I got to re-listen to that.
All right. All right. I listened to it when I was writing my Damn Good Coffee article about the podcast. I just laughed. I mean, I was at work when I'm typing this up. And I'm just listening to it, and I'm just trying not to laugh out loud. I'm just this big grin is on my face through the whole rant, and I'm just like, okay, gotta be cool. Hope nobody walks by.
We were crazy about that, weren't we?
That was great. That was one of our best ever. That exchange. That was cool.
Yeah, I got some feedback about that.
That's gotta be if we ever do a greatest hits. That's gonna be it. One of them.
Yeah, they enjoyed that riff.
Good. That was one of our best. So, yeah. Okay, so what did you give this episode?
I gave it 7.5 trays of tea and scones.
And I gave it 7 out of 10 chemistry class bombs.
Very nice. So, I like it. The bombs are the little disc.
The bombs. The gas bomb.
Okay.
Who makes a gas bomb?
My husband.
Okay. Well, that's probably something about but yeah. He needs to change his diet or something. I don't know, but yeah.
He does. He wakes himself up with those.
Okay.
It's gross. All right.
I set you up and you just knocked it right down.
You did. I was ready with that. Okay, so now we move on to Gotham, the pilot.
A little bit of an upgrade. A little bit.
But we're talking going from campy to serious.
Less campy.
Yeah, well, it's serious though.
Yeah.
Whereas Birds of Prey just didn't really take itself that seriously, right? Even if it tried.
Yes.
This is written by the showrunner Bruno Heller, from Rome and The Mentalist.
Rome is
fantastic.
Funny. You need to check out Rome.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
Because the director of this Birds of Prey episode also did The Mentalist. Which I think is really interesting.
So was it like was it like a threesome on The Mentalist? Because you had
I don't know.
Bruno Heller did The Mentalist, and then you had Danny Kamen do The Mentalist, and I'm sure The Mentalist really enjoyed himself that evening.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was weird. And also, hold on a minute. I think one of the stars here was in Drew Powell, who plays Butch Gilzin.
Yeah.
Butch.
Yeah, Butch Gilzin.
Butch Gilzin was in 6 episodes of The Mentalist as well. So
that's creepy.
There's a whole
creepy.
Yeah. There's a whole Mentalist. Now that's not weird because he might have met Bruno Heller there.
It's all in who you know. Remember this. Right. This is important. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Right. But the weirdness is that the guy who directed this episode of Birds of Prey also worked on The Mentalist, that it just so happened to sync up with Gotham. Anyway,
yes.
Bruno Heller, the showrunner, and then directed by Danny Cannon. And his resume is not quite as stellar. Judge Dredd from '95.
I am the law.
I am the law.
I am the law.
So it's the one with Sylvester Stallone.
The greater costume one, but the less, most poorly acted one.
Yeah. I am the law.
Yeah.
Nikita,
yep.
Which was good. And Alcatraz, also good.
Yep.
Good, not great, but good.
Good, not good enough to get renewed for a second season.
Right. But it had good stars in it.
Right.
Just not the best show ever.
It had potential, I thought.
Right. I thought so too.
Mm-hmm.
It would have needed a second season to do something.
I think so. I would like to have seen a second season.
Mm-hmm. But
Oh well.
But we wouldn't have gotten Gotham.
True. Good point.
Or at least this episode of Gotham.
Good point.
So
the pilot. We're setting up Gotham, and this is saying that is kind of meta because we're setting up of Batman, essentially. This is a before the Bat. Isn't that another Southgate Media podcast?
Yeah, but
free plug to Phil Parrish, but
yeah, it is. But he picked a very good name because that's essentially what this is.
Yeah.
Is we're telling the story of what is going on before Gotham got Batman.
And it's actually good. It's a setting worth exploring because we don't really know much of the period right after the Waynes are murdered up until the point where Bruce leaves and starts training across the world to become Batman. Right. There's a huge time gap there that is ripe for exploration, in my opinion.
Right.
So.
15 or so years, about 10, 12, 15 years, somewhere in there.
Right. Somewhere beyond like being a traumatized little kid to like an obsessed, aspiring hero.
Right. Anti-hero almost.
Anti-hero, yeah, basically. Right,
yeah.
Right.
At the point where he leaves, he's on the verge.
Vigilante. We go with that. We go that route.
So and we also get to see the burgeoning villains as well,
right.
Which I think is the more interesting story in this episode, at least. We start off with Selena, who will end up being Catwoman.
Cameron Bicondova.
That's right. She is amazingly good.
And looks incredibly similar to Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman.
She does.
I mean, if you watch Batman Returns, it's eerie. It's like she could be her daughter.
She has the right hair and
the facial structure and I have to think that was why she got cast because
probably. Although I think she also embodies Catwoman. She's very slinky.
Yeah, she's got dance training, I think.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that when she is doing the scene where she walks down the street and she takes things from people, she does a really good job of that. And even where she bungles a little bit in taking that guy's wallet and gets noticed, I think that takes a little bit of art to get noticed.
Right. She's still,
you know what I mean?
She's still Catgirl at this point. She's not Catwoman. So.
Right. She's not practiced at it. So she's burgling along the street.
Burgling.
Right. She gets noticed, so she has to, run, and she ends up in an alley. And it just so happens she's in the alley where the Waynes are leaving the opera.
It's a musical in this continuity.
Right. Well, musical. Sorry.
In Crime Alley.
That's right. And Selena witnesses the murder, which I find interesting. And they keep the iconic pearls, being broken, and the kneeling panel almost exactly like it's drawn in the comics, with Bruce falling on his knees with the blood on his hands and all that. And I like that, actually, that they keep that iconic vision of his parents' death.
Well, they would have got so much crap if they hadn't done that properly.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's such a huge defining Batman moment. And for the pilot, if you don't get that right, you're not going to sell your show to Batman fans.
Right.
You're gonna lose.
I agree.
You're gonna lose all credibility. So that was like a must to get right.
Right. And I even like how they used the pearls in this episode to tie things back around in the end. Because, the pearls are very much a part of that opening scene in the comic books, at least, whether they use them later on or not.
And they actually, they play a major part in this episode.
Right. So that, they're paying homage to the comic books in this. Then we move to the precinct where, they're showing how rampant crime is in the city. We see Gordon and Bullock, and they're showing their dynamic where Bullock he's sitting back. He's like, I can't do anything, whatever.
He's jaded. He's bought into this corrupt system.
Right. There's mayhem going on all around him. He is not intervening. He's reading the paper. He's got his feet up on his desk. There's a crazy guy asking for his meds, and Gordon is going to intervene. And he picks up a bottle of aspirin, and he says, I've got your meds. And he ends up taking a gun away from the crazy guy.
Right.
And he does the slick move where he pops the bullet out of the gun and catches it. And Bullock is just so not impressed. He does not.
Well, he's kind of pissed because he says that rule 1 apparently is like if someone grabs a cop's gun, that person gets shot.
Right.
And Gordon didn't go along with that. He's mad that Gordon didn't shoot, the perp.
Right. Because, intervening without violence could get you killed.
Right.
And Bullock does not want to get in the line of fire.
Mm-hmm.
And if Gordon's going to put him in the line of fire, he doesn't want that. And that's essentially his character. I'd like to talk about Bullock. Do you want to talk about him here? Or
yeah, we can talk about him now. Because I think he's, if you've watched the entire season of Gotham, you see that Harvey Bullock's kind of gone through some development over the course. He starts off in this pilot as being very, like I said, jaded, and that he can't be bothered with anything. He doesn't he's almost like he's given up being a cop.
And he's bought into the system.
Right. And then
where you just go along with the bad guys if you have to.
But Gordon basically forces him out of that little comfort zone that he's put himself into and actually gets him back in the game and actually starts getting him, as you watch the season, actually being more of an active traditional policeman like he used to be, and kind of finding himself once again. That's the way I see it.
I tend to think of Gordon as kind of his Jiminy Cricket.
Mm-hmm. That's a good analogy.
It forces him to see his conscience, his morality. However, in the comic books, Harvey Bullock is a completely different character. There's 2 continuities with him.
Yeah. Well,
there's one where he just is a bad guy and he takes bribes and he
tries to set Gordon up.
Yeah. Oh,
for a fall, and because he's working for Boss Thorne, Rupert Thorne.
Right.
But then
lots of things.
Yeah.
He's partnered with Rene Montoya. Is that the one where he's her partner?
Yeah. Well, eventually that kind of evolves, and Harvey becomes a much more heroic character, but he's still like a slob.
Right. He's never really.
He's a slob, unshaven cop, or as Gordon on Gotham likes to call him, slovenly or whatever.
Right. Which he is. Yeah. I mean, that never really changes.
But it's Bullock's partnership with Montoya in the comics that really gels so well. Right. And he cares for Montoya quite a bit.
Yeah.
Looks after her. I mean, it's just like, this is my partner. I'm looking out for her no matter what.
Right.
And if you read Gotham Central, the comic series, you'll see how much he looks after her.
Right. A lot.
Yes.
So this is a character that's in the actual continuity of the comic book. But he is similar yet different.
Mm-hmm.
They take the essence of him and put him into Gotham. I find that Donald Logue really embodies Harvey Bullock, and the writers took the personality of him and put that into his character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even though they're not really making this the the actual character from the comic books. This is, it's not out of character for that.
Right.
I tend to think of Gotham as like an Elseworlds comic. It's kind of canon, but it's a background thing, so some of the stuff's going to deviate. It's like
Well, it's like with any TV or movie adaptation of comics. It's never exactly like the comic, except for maybe Watchmen.
Right.
And even then, even that changed the ending. So even though it was like faithful for like 90% of it. So yeah, it's always that it's never a strict panel by panel adaptation of the comics.
Right. Well, this one changes a lot. I mean, Selena didn't see the murder.
Right. It's a different medium, and sometimes people like to put their, put twists into it so you don't automatically know what's going on.
Right. And I think that's the point of this.
Yeah.
That, they make it really fresh, but they keep the essence of the characters.
Right.
So in that case, I think Harvey Bullock, they do a really good job with his character, and Donal Logue is just perfect.
Yep.
You see him the way he is on this show, and he is, that's how he looks in the comics.
Right.
It's exactly. So he he goes to the captain, Essen, and he says, "I do not want to be partnered with Gordon anymore." And it's funny because he comes out and Gordon says something to the effect of, "She wouldn't take you off. She wouldn't."
Yeah.
Wouldn't let you.
Yep. Sorry, you're stuck with me.
Yeah, you're stuck with me. Sorry. Yeah. And he's just like,
Oh,
he's not happy.
He's angry. Yeah, he's throwing stuff, and
yeah.
But it's interesting now. Sarah Essen is interesting because in the comics, if you read Batman Year One, Gordon actually has an affair with Sarah Essen. Although she's not the captain, she's like a lieutenant in the GCPD.
Right. She's just a cop.
Yeah, she's just a cop like he is. And they end up actually having an affair. So, but now they've kind of reinvented Sarah Essen as now Gordon's superior.
Right. So I'm guessing no affair.
Probably not.
Yeah. He's got enough chicks hanging off of his arm already, right?
It's the badge. Chicks dig the badge.
I think chicks are digging the Boy Scout.
Yeah. Well,
thing,
the fact that
in this case.
Yeah, the fact that he's like all like good looking and I'm sure.
Yeah, that helps. Although I think I'd go for Harvey Bullock personally.
He's more your type.
Yeah. My husband looks very much like Donal Logue.
Okay, so that's your type.
Yeah. He's got the beard and the hair and Anyway. So I skipped over the part where Gordon and Bullock go to the crime scene.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to talk about Bullock. But Gordon and Bullock are put on the Wayne murder. Bullock wants nothing to do with it because this is going to be high profile. He doesn't want to be on a high profile murder case. Might draw attention to him. God forbid. And Detective Gordon and Bruce Wayne are interacting. And this is why Bullock can't pull out.
Oh,
because,
really?
Yeah, pull out of the case.
Oh, okay.
Because
sorry, my mind wandered a bit.
Because Detective Gordon has already bonded, and they're already, oh man, he's already gotten involved.
because he talked to Bruce. It's now like the policy that whoever like engages the witness it's their case. They're stuck with it.
Right.
And Harvey's not feeling that at all. Especially once he IDs the bodies.
Right. He's not happy. He doesn't want to deal with the Waynes.
It's like this is,
and he talks
this is too high profile. I want nothing to do with it. Jim, you asshole.
Right. That's it.
Yeah, basically.
He's talking to the cop on the scene while Gordon is talking to Bruce. And Gordon talks to Bruce about losing his father, and they kind of bond over that. And that's why Bruce starts to talk to him about what happened, because he feels like they have a connection. And this is the first time they have that connection, which I think is, the foreshadowing into them being able to work together when he grows up. And I think that's a nice connection there. And also, as soon as the that sort of dynamic happens, and then Bullock realizes they're going to have to take this case. Alfred shows up.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce goes running to him, and Alfred is jaded.
Yeah, a little bit.
He sardonically wishes them luck in finding
Alfred,
the murder.
played by Sean Pertwee.
Yes, we'll discuss that. Son of.
We'll just leave it there.
John Pertwee.
Yes.
We'll talk about it. Don't worry about it. So yeah, he shows up, and Gordon says, "Don't worry, we'll catch him." And he says, "Well, good luck with that."
Yeah.
And he takes Bruce away.
Yeah, he's like, "Good luck, mate."
Yeah, he knows they're not going to catch him.
And this Alfred is much more blokish.
Yeah.
Alfred.
Yeah,
he's not prim and proper Alfred. He's like, "All right, mate."
He's Cockney-ish, right?
He's John Constantine.
Yeah, he is. Although he's proper,
probably from Liverpool.
Yeah, but he's half and half. I'd say, because he's definitely cultured.
Yeah.
But yeah, his speech is more from Liverpool-y, Cockney-ish sort of speech patterns. But he wears the vest and the button-down shirt.
He's obviously dresses properly.
Right.
It's immaculate suit he wears, and
right. But we can definitely see the connection that Bruce and Alfred have at this point, because he goes running and Alfred is very welcoming.
Right.
The hug, the enveloping him.
Well, and, Alfred's now Bruce's only family left.
Right. But there's no hesitation
right.
at that point. So there's definitely already that closeness.
Bruce trusts Alfred by this point.
Right.
Yeah.
Implicitly.
Right.
So this is when they realize they're the only family they have is each other. Then Rene and Crispus come into the diner.
Crispus Allen.
Yeah. So do you want to talk about
and our jerks in this continuity?
They are complete jerks.
This is where I think a lot of Batman fans, comic fans, got a little frustrated, myself included, because Montoya and Allen in the Gotham Central comic books are they're very professional. They're not jerks. They work well with everybody else in the department. This version, they're almost the major crimes unit is almost competing for a high profile case. They actually hit Bullock up wanting him to transfer the case to the major crimes unit. Hey, right. Harvey, you don't want to deal with this. We'll take it on.
Right.
And Crispus Allen in this continuity is smiling all the time, which as opposed to the much more serious comic version.
Right.
So it's a little jarring.
In the comics, in one of the continuities, Montoya becomes the question, right?
Yes. That's by Greg Rucka that handles that. And
Allen becomes
the Spectre.
right.
Briefly, yeah. And then
And I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, he takes over the Spectre role after Hal Jordan gives it up.
Right. It's very cool.
Yep.
I just thought I'd mention that as trivia.
And now with the new 52, that's all been wiped away.
Yeah. Gone. They're just, detectives again. So Bullock asked the captain for another partner and vetoed. Then we have Edward Enigma's first riddle, and that's what's nowhere but everywhere except where something is. And Gordon solves it immediately, and the answer is nothing.
Now, did you notice that Edward kind of gives him a look of respect for solving that riddle? He's like, definitely. Hey, Boy Scouts got some skills.
Yep, he got some moves. He got the moves,
you are worthy of paying attention to.
That's right. And I'm guessing that is the point of that.
Yeah, it's almost like a test.
I will work with you.
And Gordon passes it.
Right. And of course Bullock is like, you need help.
Yeah. And I'm sure that Edward has no respect for Harvey because Harvey's dumb.
But the help is going to come for Harvey as well because he respects Gordon. So it ends up working that way anyway.
And we get our first. This is our first real taste of the Riddler. It's all too brief, but it's a only hint of the greatness of Corey Michael Smith in this role, because he's so fun. He's so fun to watch.
Yeah, he's so good through the whole season.
Yeah.
And again, it's that the casting of this show is just brilliant. Dead on. I mean, he is the Riddler.
Yeah.
Dead on. Now they're led to Fish Mooney, her club, and we also see this comedian on stage, and this is one of the red herrings they give us for the Joker.
Is it the Joker? We don't know.
Right.
We're yanking your chain.
Because they kept giving us these red herrings throughout the whole season. Of course it wasn't. I mean,
or was it? We don't know.
No, it wasn't. And then we meet Butch and Oswald, of course. Butch is out in the alley where Gordon comes upon him and some thugs beating up a guy who owes Fish money. And they're all like, the guy that owes the money's like, oh, nothing's happening here.
Yeah, poor Raoul, because he's just like, he's getting the crap kicked out of him with a baseball bat. And Butch even hands the Penguin the bat and says, hey, you wanna work out some stress, or give it a go. And he the Penguin in this great scene, he taps him first, he kind of laughs, and then he hits him a little harder, he laughs again, and then really lays into him and really gets into it.
Yeah, it's showing the birth of the Penguin here too. And he is insanely good as well.
Robin Lord Taylor.
Yeah, he's so good.
Who's on The Walking Dead.
Yes. I put that in the thing.
Okay, I didn't know you put that.
We'll discuss that. Right. I even put the episodes he's in.
Ooh, because you're awesome, research goddess.
That's right. So, yeah, that's where we get those people and the discussion with Fish. And I'm never impressed with the character of Fish.
No.
Throughout the season.
Jada Pinkett Smith,
I like the actress. She's good. Very good with what she was given. But Fish Mooney was never a character that I ever identified with. And I think part of it is because she just never existed anywhere but this show.
Right. She was specifically created for this series.
Right.
I think it's because they wanted a female gangster. They didn't have one from Batman comics, so they invented one.
And it to me, it seemed forced, and that was exactly what the deal was. It was forced.
Yep.
So, not necessary. I think it would have been better if Falcone was running the bar and, whatever. So we have that scene where they talk to her and, that they get a lead.
Because apparently Bullock's really tight with Fish.
Right.
Before, at some point they became tight. To the point where he comes up and kisses her on the cheek and hi, and I'm
guessing she was a CI, maybe.
I don't know, maybe
a confidential informant.
Could be.
Although could be more.
Well, that's kind of like I wonder why they went to go see her. It was maybe Harvey figured that she'd spill her, she knows something and would spill her guts.
Right, and he also knows her connection to the mob and all that.
Exactly.
That she has all kinds of connections. So they get this lead to the Peppers a little bit later. They get a call as well. But in between, Gordon goes home to Barbara, and they have
in the penthouse
discussion. Yeah,
the first time we see the penthouse, which poor Barbara is stuck in for most of this first season.
Yeah. They have a chat. Oh, you're not going to make me go to this thing, are you? No, I'm not going to make you go. But she's all dressed up or, oh, hi. Hi, lover.
Yep. Yeah.
It's just a brief conversation to show that they're together.
And Barbara exists solely as his fiance.
Right.
She has we have no idea what she does all day, or we get any kind of indication that she's a substantive character apart from she's Jim's fiance.
Right. Well, we do get a job later on, but we don't ever see her doing it.
Right. She's in the penthouse drinking.
Drinking a lot.
And doing drugs.
Right. So there's this little interaction, but of course, just minutes after he arrives, he gets a phone call saying, hey, I got this lead. and it's the Peppers. So they go to this house and, Ivy Pepper.
Hey.
So, we get to see Poison Ivy as a little girl.
Not Pamela Isley, Poison Ivy.
No. Ivy Pepper.
Ivy Pepper. So somehow Ivy Pepper becomes Pamela Isley, or this is just a complete tease like the Joker where, guess what? Maybe she won't even be Poison Ivy.
Maybe she changes her name.
Who knows? But
yeah. Well, they know her as Ivy Pepper already. So she may change her name in order to, to be under the radar, to go on the DL.
The down low.
That's right. Down low. So he has the dad has the pearls. Mm-hmm. And they chase him around and they end up killing him. Because
he's firing back at them. He just all they do is really ask him if he's got the necklace. He bolts.
Right.
And Gordon's chasing him, and then finally it looks like that Mario, the dad, is going to kill Gordon, but then Bullock shows up and shoots him dead.
Right.
And Gordon's like, thanks, partner.
Right. And they think they've got the murderer.
Yeah, because they go looking through his stuff.
Right. And they find
the pearls in this little safe box. And everything's all nice and neat and wrapped up.
Yeah. Too neat.
Exactly.
Yeah. Until Oswald slides into the back seat of their car.
Of Montoya and Alan's car.
Oh, I put Gordon and Bullock, but it is Montoya and
Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And he squeals.
Yes, because
he's
a rat. He's not a penguin, he's a rat.
Fish. Yeah. Fish set him up.
Yep.
She put the pearls.
She worked with the GCPD, and it was all a setup. Yeah.
Right. And so Rene goes to see Barbara.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And there's a bit of an undertone there, isn't there?
Yeah. And an interesting development. Barbara is now apparently had a past lesbian relationship with Rene Montoya.
That's right. Because the character in the comic books is a lesbian.
Right. So, which was great. But
so they use that in this continuity as well.
But now in this continuity, though, unfortunately, Montoya is kind of a bit of a bitch and manipulates Barbara.
Yeah. Right.
And they have a really unhealthy relationship, which is probably why they broke up in the first place.
Right. But that could come because she thinks that Barbara was just playing with her.
I don't know. She was Barbara was bi-curious?
Just playing at being a lesbian.
Yeah. It was
she's
a
mad.
Phase.
Yeah.
With Barbara.
That can happen.
Yeah.
So she goes and she tells Barbara about the framing. And I think it's funny because, she says, I heard you were working at a gallery. And I put, get it? Gallery framing. Because it was all in the same sentence. Yeah. So anyway. And we do get her job that she works at
a gallery.
But
a
gallery.
But again, you never see her do it.
Nope, never, not once. Nope. And then there's this whole after Barbara tells him that Rene visited her and said she thought it was a frame up, then he questions it because it was too neat.
Right.
And he goes to Bullock and he says, shiny shoes, pearls, Falcone, pill-headed loony bird was mentioned. And then Gordon goes and confronts Fish.
Right.
And
after he confronts Montoya.
Well, yeah.
Because he's pissed off at Montoya for going to Barbara.
Right. And planting a seed in her fluffy head.
And then Montoya gives him the whole, we'll see who's right when we get the evidence.
And he says, what evidence do you have that this is a setup?
We're getting it.
She's
we're gonna get it.
Well, I don't have any, but still.
Yeah. I know you're guilty. I know you're involved.
Right. She says that he was part of the cover-up.
Right.
Essentially. And she's ratting him out to Barbara is part of the deal. Is she saying, your fiance is a dirty cop?
Yeah, and she's trying to sabotage their relationship.
Right.
Because again, Montoya is a bitch, but in this continuity.
It's rude and rude.
Yeah.
So the shiny shoes are the tip off to him, and he and Bullock are going to look at their shoes, and there's no shiny shoes.
Yep, Mario does not have shiny shoes.
No. So then he goes to confront Fish, and he is taken, Gordon.
Yep.
So Bullock tries to get him back after Barbara says, "I can't get him on the phone."
Yeah. Well,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't know where he is.
Yeah, because I only exist as a character with him.
Right. And if I can't get a hold of him, then I won't be on the show anymore.
I will fade into nothingness without him.
My gallery job will go away. So Bullock, pats her on the head and says, "Well, maybe his battery died. He's on a stakeout. Go home. It'll be a darling. Don't worry your pretty little head." Yeah, sends her off, but he knows that something's wrong.
Go off and fix your lipstick or something.
Right. Go wash your hair.
Yep.
And he goes to Fish because he figures he's gone to Fish and confronted her because he's a Boy Scout.
Right.
And he finds out, yes, Fish has him. It's silly because
she's holding it.
He calls Fish.
Well, he's hiding Gordon. She's hiding Gordon at this meat processing plant.
Right. And so he goes there. Butch is there. And he calls Fish on the phone and he says, "Look, if you kill my partner, I'm going to have to go after you."
Right.
And you don't want that. I don't want that.
Nobody wants that.
Yeah, let him go. Come on, let him go. And she says, "Okay, honey, I'll let him go." And then she says, "Put me on the phone with Butch."
Yep.
And then, puts him on the phone with Butch and she's like, "Kill these dudes."
He threatened me.
Right. And I think Harvey is totally delusional.
Yeah.
Of course she's going to kill them.
Yeah.
Right? But he leans down and he says, "Don't worry, I got this covered."
Yeah.
And then the next scene, he's strung up.
Yeah, Butch knocks him out and strings him up.
Which is so funny.
And they're both together, strung up like a side of beef.
Right. And it's funny because he says, "Well, I came to save you." And Gordon's like, "Hey, thanks."
Yeah.
And they're both upside
Thanks
down.
for the rescue there.
Right.
Hero.
Right. Now Fish knows Oswald snitched because he's the only one that saw her with the pearls. She is not happy at all. And Butch is about to execute Gordon and Bullock, but Falcone interrupts and he says killing cops is against the rules.
That we've changed every day.
Right. Now, while Harvey is back with Butch, and I'm assuming this is when he's getting the orders that Fish has given to what they're going to do next, Falcone is talking to Gordon about, "I knew your dad when he was a DA. He went along with me, so you need to go along with me," is essentially the talk he's given.
Yeah.
And then we find out after they leave, they get in the car, Oswald's in the trunk, and Bullock has been given the order from Falcone that they got to take out Oswald for being a snitch.
And to also prove Jim's loyalty.
Correct.
To the
Jim's
system.
got to take him out, and this will make him a dirty cop. It'll give them ammo against him, to say he's killed this guy.
Now they can trust him because they've got something on him.
Right. So he has to shoot Oswald and, make him eat with the fishes.
Sleep with the fishes.
Whatever. Sleep with the fishes.
Sleep with the fishes.
Right.
Penguins and fishes, go figure.
Yeah, well, hey.
Well.
So there's that. And I like the talk that Falcone has with Gordon. He says stuff about the city. And I pulled this quote. He says, "We needed a culprit before the funeral. Pepper was sacrificed so that the people of Gotham would see swift justice done, so they can feel safe and secure." And then he says, "You can't have organized crime without law and order." And it's true.
Right.
But it's also false.
Well, as long as, they're controlling the cops.
Right.
It's in the mob's best interest to have everything running smoothly as long as they're in charge.
Right. It's his way of fooling himself into thinking he's actually doing good for the city.
It's kind of like what we went through with the Kingpin on Daredevil.
Right. I was just going to say he's like he's like Kingpin.
Yeah. He's like
in this
I'm making the city better place. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, this is his little lecture to Gordon saying, be on our side and things will go smoothly. We'll have less crime from the lowlifes.
Wink, wink.
Right. Because this guy was a lowlife. Don't worry about it. He was a dude that you didn't want in this town. If this is how it was gonna go, right. That's how the speech would have gone. You don't want this guy in your town, right? Elbow. So he wants Gordon to get with the program. He ends up shooting Oswald, pushing him into the river, and then Gordon, of course, is despondent. I can't believe I had to go along with this.
Well, he did. I mean, he whispers to Oswald first.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like I'm gonna have to kill you, quote unquote.
Right.
But so what he does, he puts his gun right by Oswald's ear to make it look like he shot him in the head. But what he does, it probably gives Oswald a nice little earache.
Yeah.
From having that gun shot right behind.
Ma.
Yeah, exactly. It's an archer.
Like an archer.
Yeah. So, and that ringing his ear probably.
Yeah.
But so they basically, he fakes it, puts the gun up to make it look like he shoots him in the head, then shoves him into the river.
Right.
So.
But Harvey sees it.
Yep.
And Harvey
verified, like to Harvey, it looks like Jim shot him. Right. He's the witness.
Right. But of course, it's not long before they find out he actually didn't do it because Oswald is...
Spoilers. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oswald comes back to life.
Oh, yeah. Oswald, by the end of the episode, he crawls out of the river and promptly kills the guy, this fisherman, because Penguin needs a sandwich.
That's right.
It's like, sandwich.
Yeah. Make me a sandwich. Okay, so they go to talk to Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Because they want him to know that they really didn't catch the murderer. He is courting danger.
Yeah. He's going up on rooftops.
Right.
Trying to conquer his fear, or at least face his fears.
Right. And I'm guessing he's done other things because Alfred looks like he's just had it.
This kid, I'm telling you.
Right.
Mate.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't even.
Yeah.
It's pretty much what he's doing. So Alfred is trying very hard to stop him from doing these things.
And Alfred's not used to raising a kid.
Right.
So he's kind of at a loss. They're both trying to figure out their new relationship. Bruce, because Alfred's essentially like his surrogate, or his like stepfather.
Right.
And then Bruce, is like this child he has to raise.
But not just that. I mean, there's that, which is difficult enough. But right now, Bruce wants to feel something.
Yeah.
And he wants to know he's alive. So he's doing this like courting death thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Alfred doesn't know what to do with that.
He's not trying to he's not trying to kill himself.
No, he's not. He wants to feel alive.
But as far as Alfred's concerned, maybe he's going to try to kill himself.
Right. He's courting danger. I mean, that's essentially what it is. He wants to feel something other than this grief that he feels over his parents. He wants that adrenaline. And that's kind of what he does when he goes to train to be Batman. He wants that adrenaline of fighting. And we see that throughout his training and all that stuff. But this is definitely a dynamic that Alfred is not used to. And
maybe they should have had like in that whole scene, they should have had like Cure music playing like in The Crow.
Yeah. Exactly, and a flapping black,
or Dead Souls by 9 Inch Nails, and like all darkness and like,
and him wearing like a very tiny
that moody
black leather trench coat,
that mopey goth beat like.
Yes. And him wearing eyeliner, as it were. But
just
there's that
putting on my face.
They get him down and they're talking to him, and Gordon tells them Pepper was framed. Sorry, I'm really sorry.
Sorry.
But we didn't find the killer, and it's no surprise to Alfred, of course. Right. But Bruce says, well, I'm glad you didn't find the killer because it means I can find him.
Right.
I can face him later. And this shows his very dark side coming out.
Yeah, during the funeral of his parents, after the funeral, Bruce meets Gordon, and Gordon tells him that they got the killer.
Right.
And Bruce is like, well, I was hoping to to confront him, but at least you got him, or something like that.
Right. Well, he's kind of unfeeling about it, though.
Yeah. He's a little detached.
He just kind of brushes by it.
Yeah. But here, he's like, I wanted to meet that guy.
Good.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. He's very determined that this is a good thing.
Spoilers, it's Joe Chill. Oh.
Yeah, well, whatever. I don't know who they're going to... It's just a guy with a big mask on.
Yeah, you probably never know. They probably won't say.
But I'm guessing it's one of Falcone's guys. In this continuity, at least.
Well, I don't know, because
Falcone knows who it is, right?
Well, he didn't want to upset the apple cart.
Right.
So he didn't really. The question is who. I thought it was more the Wayne board.
Oh, okay, yeah. I guess
later in the season that we find out the Wayne Enterprises board's pretty shady.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I guess, but he knew it wasn't Pepper.
No. Yeah, he knew it wasn't Pepper. Mario Pepper.
So he might have been working with someone. Yeah. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know what they're doing. Okay, so that's essentially the episode. Mm-hmm. Let's quickly go through the cast. And do you have anything else?
No, that pretty much covered it. You did an excellent job as always.
Thank you. So we have Ben McKenzie as James Gordon, mm-hmm. and oddly enough, he did the voice of Batman in Batman Year One, the comic movie.
Right.
He was in Southland and the OC. Donald Logue as Harvey Bullock, and he is a big comic book fan.
I didn't know that.
He is. He was in Sneakers and Terriers, but he was also in Blade.
Yes.
The movie.
Yeah, I was just saying, he's the guy who gets all crispy fried, and
he is.
And it laughs it
very
off.
Much so.
Laughs it off. Yeah.
He was in Comic Book Villains, the movie with Carrie Elwes.
Okay.
It's a very funny movie about competing comic book stores, and they end up killing each other at the end.
Oh, okay.
Very dark comedy. Very funny. You should look it up.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
And Ghost Rider.
Right.
So he's been in several different comic book movies.
He's good.
And he also owns a lumber company.
Okay.
Donald Logue and Kevin Friesen joined resources and interests in 2012.
Okay, so
I knew this already. All I had to do is go to my bookmarks and find this. To begin Friesen Logue Hardwoods. Donald's passion for the Pacific Northwest, the outdoors, and new business ventures blended well with Kevin's experience and skills in the tree service industry. Friesen Logue Hardwoods strives to provide the highest quality kiln-dried wood slabs, burls, custom lumber orders, and beautiful tabletop slabs. And that is at FriesenLogueHardwoods.com. Now, I have to say, I love their stuff. It's gorgeous. Mm-hmm. It's like big slabs of wood that they dry.
I hope they're giving.
And
hope they're giving you a piece for giving them the commercial. No, the commercial for this.
No, they're not. But I thought this was such an interesting thing about him, that he's like this lumberjack in real life. Mm-hmm. It's like a big slab of wood, and they kiln dry them, and sometimes they finish them, mm-hmm. and you can use them as tabletops and stuff. And they tell you, this would be great as a desk, or this would be good as a coffee table, or whatever. I mean, they tell you right up front, here's what it would be good for. This would be good as a desk because there's a spot for a chair or whatever. It's awesome. The site is awesome.
You're really into this, I can tell.
I am. If I had money, I would buy something from them. So anyway, Friesen Logue Lumber, it's awesome. So David Mazouz as Bruce Wayne, and he was in the show with the guy from 24, Touch.
Kiefer Sutherland.
Kiefer Sutherland. He was the boy in Touch.
Okay. He was touched. Oh, let's not go there.
He was the touchy thing. Sabrina Guevara as Sarah Essen. Mm-hmm. X-Men Days of Future Past was in her credits.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Now we come to Sean Pertwee.
Sean Pertwee. Yes.
As Alfred Pennyworth.
Can I say who Sean Pertwee is?
Yes, okay. I'm leaving it for you.
Okay. For you Doctor Who fans, of which you may know that I am one of them, as is Karen, but
I am.
Sean Pertwee is the son of third Doctor John Pertwee, and
Right on.
And to the point where Sean looks a lot like John now and resembles him.
Does.
And they have a very similar voice.
Mm-hmm. If he had longer hair, he would look very much like his.
There was, I guess, for Halloween or something last year, Sean dressed up as his dad, as the third Doctor, and posted on Instagram, which I thought was awesome.
They were neat.
Yeah, and so I keep hoping that maybe Stephen Moffat will someday come to his senses and have Sean come in and reprise his dad's role on Doctor Who, because that would be awesome.
That would be cool.
I would love that.
In a flashback or something.
Yeah. And Sean has appeared as the detective on Elementary that I'm trying to remember the exact role. Oh, Lestrade. He played Lestrade in Elementary, and did a really good job with that. So check that out.
And he was also on Poirot, and in the show Luther.
And he's in the first episode of The Tudors, and he gets killed off. I think.
Wah, wah.
Yeah.
Whoops.
But he's in The Tudors too, so that's something.
So yeah, and he's great in Gotham.
Yeah, he is.
He's going to be really good as part of Bruce's posse in the second season.
Right.
So now we move on, of course, to Robin Lord Taylor as Oswald Cobblepot. And here's where I did my research. I knew this already, but I did look up the episode names. He was in, and I rewatched Person of Interest.
Right.
So this is why I know this. He was in an episode called Blue Code, and it's where a cop goes undercover as an EMT, and he was one of the guys posing as an EMT, but he was a criminal.
Okay.
And they were smuggling drugs when they took a guy. They had like drugs smuggled in the thing, and they, but there was an undercover cop. He was like the guy who was off kilter, and he always wanted to shoot someone. I want to kill that guy. I want to kill that cop. Right. Okay. And he had blonde hair like he did in The Walking Dead. And then he was in The Walking Dead, Sanctuary, and Indifferent.
Yeah. He was one of the guys that, as they're like, I think it was season 5, where they're kind of lined up in like a front of a trough. And they get beheaded into the trough. So he was one of the guys begging for his life. Near the trains. Yeah. At Terminus.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
That's
and he looked completely different with the blonde hair.
Yeah,
right.
He almost got hair like Butters on South Park.
Yes. Yes. Or Chris Hardwick.
Or Chris Hardwick now, because he has Butters-like hair.
Yeah, Butters-like hair. Yeah. But he's very good in those and recognizable if you know that's him.
Right. You're like, dude, he was in that. Yeah.
Yeah. But he was in those episodes. Erin Richards as Barbara Keene. And the only thing I could find for her was Breaking In, the series.
Okay.
Nothing else. Cameron can you say it?
Yeah, Cameron Bicondova.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
As Selena Kyle, and this was her first role. Right. Corey Michael Smith as Edward Enigma, and this was his first role of any import.
Right.
Jada Pinkett Smith as Fish Mooney, and she's been on a lot of things. A Different World is where she got her start, really.
And then Niobe in the Matrix movies.
From Matrix Reloaded on.
Right.
She wasn't in the first one.
She's not in the good one.
Right. And she was in Menace to Society as well. So.
Right.
But, she's been in a lot of different things. Jada Pinkett Smith. If you don't, you've been living in a cave.
Yeah, exactly.
And she's married to Will Smith.
As well. For now.
Oh, come on. They have an open marriage. That's it.
Yeah.
They're not getting divorced. John Doman as Carmine Falcone. And he plays Senator Ross Garrison on Person of Interest, which is a kind of a big role. He works with the bad guys on there. But he thinks he's doing good.
And now he's a bad guy on Gotham.
That's right. And he was on The Wire and in the movie Blue Valentine. Richard Kind as Mayor Aubrey James. Now, if you don't know Richard Kind, you've been living in a cave as well.
He's great.
He was on Mad About You and Spin City. Those were his major roles.
Spin City was great. He was terrific on Spin City.
I loved Spin City so much. And he does lots and lots of voices. Yep. He does a lot of voices for Pixar.
Yeah,
Cars, Toy Story,
Bug's Life.
Like
he's one of the grasshoppers in A Bug's Life. He's Molt.
Oh, nice.
In A Bug's Life, and he's really hilarious in that.
He's good no matter what he does. Right. He makes me laugh all the time, and he's done bit parts on all kinds of movies and shows and things like that. Right. Victoria Cartagena as Rene Montoya, and I couldn't find anything that she's been in really of import. Nope. Andrew Stewart Jones as Crispus Allen, and it looks like he's going to have a role in the upcoming Minority Report.
Oh, okay.
So keep an eye out for him.
He'll probably be smiling in that as well.
He probably will. Drew Powell as Butch Gilzin, and like I said, he was in The Mentalist. Right. For an arc. And he was also a regular on Malcolm in the Middle when he was younger. Daniel Stewart Sherman as Mario Pepper, who was in Music and Lyrics. Okay. A movie that is a guilty pleasure for me.
Good, because I've never...
It's a romantic...
this would be...
It's a romantic comedy.
This would be why I don't know of it.
Okay. Drew Barrymore and... Oh, man, that British guy from Notting Hill.
Hugh Grant?
Hugh Grant, thank you.
You're welcome.
Who such a great
also
movie.
Played the Doctor in a Doctor Who sketch for Comic Relief.
Did he?
Do you not know that? It's called The Curse of Fatal Death, and it's written by Stephen Moffat before he did Doctor Who. Yeah. Yep.
Doctor Who.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
And he was also in Run All Night and Boy Wonder. Michael Kostroff as Officer Tannenbaum, and that's the officer who was on the scene of the murder.
Okay.
He was in The Blacklist, many episodes of The Blacklist, Sunny with a Chance, and Damages. Grayson McCouch as Thomas Wayne. He is all over soap operas, apparently.
He's got that look. I could see that.
Yeah, he does. General Hospital and As the World Turns.
Hi, I'm Handsome Guy.
Yes.
Yes.
And by the way, speaking of soap operas, this is my...
What is this bizarre segue?
Yeah.
It's just a short little thing. Nathan Fillion does this little bit, if you look it up somewhere, where he does soap opera acting. And he does the 3 looks of soap opera acting. I can't remember what they are, but if you look it up, it's hilarious. It's one of my favorite things.
Is one of them blue steel?
No. No. It's like... how you have to look, and it's like look like you're smelling something funny.
Yep.
You know, it's that sort of thing. So anyway, it's his 3 looks of soap opera acting.
Okay.
And he still uses them to this day. It's very funny.
Right.
Brett Taylor as Martha Wayne, and she is on Nashville, and she was on Rescue Me.
Okay.
Claire Foley as Ivy Pepper, and she has a very impressive resume for her age. Sinister and Win-Win. Were the big roles, but if you look her up on IMDb, it's very long.
And she's barely in Gotham's first season.
I know she is, but I'm guessing she'll be in
maybe
a little more.
Maybe we'll see.
I mean, it says Rise of the Villains,
maybe.
Yeah. But, so that's pretty much all I got.
Because that's one of the things I've noticed is that we don't see much of Poison Ivy, Ivy Pepper, the rest of this season. Montoya and Allen were kind of conveniently written out of the series.
Yeah.
Allen very quickly.
Yeah.
And then Montoya.
I don't think we see him again, do we?
No, I think he's in a couple more, and then that's
okay.
Yeah, that's
but very
very small. They must have realized no, this is not working. He's not working.
Yeah.
And then they got rid of Montoya soon after. So
yeah. Yeah. So at least they pared down things.
Yeah.
They streamlined it a little bit. Because that would have been a lot of noise.
Yeah.
I mean, Fish Mooney was already
eating up all the scenery. Yeah.
Yeah, chewing it.
Nom, nom, nom.
Munching it hard. Now, other than that, I posted on our Facebook page 3 articles, and I might get more in the meantime because Gotham's coming up very quickly.
Yeah.
5 changes that'll make Gotham the series Batman fans deserve. And I thought it was a really good article from Comic Book Resources. A little clip on YouTube that's Enigma faces his demons. And it's a clip from Fox where Ed talks to himself and he's a little nutty.
Yeah.
And then a clip where Sean Pertwee and Ben McKenzie talk about Gotham.
Hey.
And it's also from YouTube. So it's them just sitting there talking about Gotham and watching Gotham with them. So I posted those all on our Facebook page, and they're there for your viewing enjoyment.
Awesome. And
so there you go. That's my.
All right, that was pretty lengthy cast list there.
Yeah, sorry.
So what do you give this episode?
I gave it 8 sides of beef.
More specifically, like Gordon and Bullock hanging like sides of beef.
Yeah, pretty
in
much.
The meat packing plant.
Right.
I gave this one 8 out of 10. Pearl. 8 out of. That was for the Birds of Prey. We're a little late on that one.
I know. Sorry.
You just had to work it in.
Yeah.
Now I gave this one 8 out of 10. Pearls falling onto Crime Alley. And yes, because it's a defining Batman moment.
Very iconic. Yeah. Very much so. Mm-hmm. So you got anything else?
Well, because we're running long, I'm only gonna hit one thing.
Okay.
Really quick.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. We may have another comic book show to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
As you may know, which I post on Damn Good Coffee, is that AMC gave Preacher the green light.
Yeah. There's been rumblings.
Yeah.
But
we weren't sure if it was going to go to series, but apparently they picked it up for 10 episodes, including the pilot they already shot.
Yeah.
So really 9 more episodes. But that won't air until at least May 2016. So we have some time.
Right.
That'll be like toward the summer, maybe. So that might be good.
Yeah, it might be something that happens.
Because if it's a summer series, that would probably work out really good. Because as you probably know from listening to this podcast, summer was a little light. So yeah, that would.
Although we still managed to get 2 hours.
Yeah, because we're long-winded and we won't shut up like right now. So
now, mind you, I kind of felt like I had to set up the Gotham episode since it was the pilot.
Right.
And I'm trying to gear people up for the second season.
Yeah, so that's why we thought it would be fun to go back as the second season's coming, to go back to the first episode and see how far the show has either come or not come.
Right. So that is thus my detailed
and a very
description.
Good detailed description you did. My kudos.
All right. Thank you.
You did an excellent job as always.
Thank you.
Thumbs up.
I need your validation today.
You do?
Yes, I do.
I didn't think you needed my validation.
I sweated this one out.
Why? You did a great job. I think.
All right. Well, thank you.
And
it's the headache.
And listeners, she did a good job. Yes, she did. She did a great job. We loved it.
And there was much rejoicing.
Yeah. So see, it's all good.
Monty Python.
The Riddler likes it. It was good.
I did enjoy on our Facebook page. Who was it? Let me look real quick.
Was that Christina?
Chris, I think.
Christina?
Jeff Peterson, maybe? Someone said that they enjoyed our off-topic ramblings. When, you said something about the Hellblazer show. I'm going to have to go back to that now.
We can talk.
Preacher.
Yeah, Preacher.
Yes. Philip. Yes, 2.5-hour episodes of Phantom Zone. And I said, sheesh, we're going to try to avoid that. And then he wrote, I have a feeling there's no avoiding it. And he put a picture of sharks with frickin' laser beams. And I said, can I just say how awesome it is that y'all love our rambling?
Because sharks with frickin' laser beams is kind of one of our things.
Right. So it's nice that they actually enjoy the fact that we have our catchphrases
we do.
And stuff.
Yeah.
So, that's cool.
That's good. Every good show has a catchphrase, and we have all of them.
Although we've stolen all of them from other shows.
We only steal from the best.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. Dr. Evil is awesome.
Yep.
So, all right. So let's tell them where they can reach us.
Okay.
They can reach us on the Twitter machine.
Yes.
At the Fandom Zone Cast. At Fandom Zone Cast.
It's that easy.
That's right. Or on Facebook at facebook.com/Fandom Zone Podcast.
Right.
Or an email, fandomzonecast@gmail.com.
Excellent.
And they can reach me at Aleveria, ALEVERIA. And there's an About Me link there in my bio that will take you to all my other links.
Of which there are many.
And I can formally announce.
Drum roll, please.
that I am doing the Supergirl podcast for GSM this fall.
Ooh.
Called
Yes.
Made of Steel.
Yay.
MAID of Steel.
Awesome.
Because it's girls doing it. So,
which means I'm probably not going to be guest hosting.
No, I said we're not excluding anyone. It's just we're talking about Supergirl and it's us talking about it. So it's actually referring to Supergirl.
Okay.
Made
Got it.
of Steel.
Got it.
Maiden.
Yes. I got the concept. Yes.
It's kind of a play on that.
I know.
So it'll be me and Emily O'Leary.
Awesome.
If you know who she is. And she's going to be going into it as just a watcher of, television, enjoying.
Not really a comics person.
Right. Enjoying the television side of things. And I'm going to be the geek.
Yep. You're the pro.
Right. Going, well, not as far as Supergirl's concerned so much. I'm going to have to do research on it for things like that. But at least I have a background in comics.
Yes, you do.
So that's going to be it. So keep an eye out for that. It will go into my links on my About Me page.
Sounds good.
And you, Charles?
Where can they not find me? I'm like everywhere, like a virus.
Yeah, you are.
I'm on the Twitter machine at Charles Skaggs. I'm on the Instagram machine at Charles Skaggs. Funny how that works.
It is.
I'm on the Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the Google Plus for all you crazy kids on the Google Plus.
I love it.
And my blog of geeky things, Damn Good Coffee and Hot, where I talk about things like Preacher or The Flash or Gotham and all kinds of stuff. So
that's right.
And Doctor Who. So check it. So check it out.
That's right.
And I'm also on.
And you do this awesome podcast called Next Stop Everywhere.
Yes, I do, with Jesse Jackson, who has friend of the show and has been on the Fandom Zone podcast.
That's right.
So. Yep, check it out.
And I have guested on that show, which I love.
Yes, and hopefully we'll do again soon.
That's right. So that's where you can reach us. And sorry for the length, but I kind of wanted to set people up for the upcoming season of Gotham, get people excited. I'm really excited about this next season because it's going to be the villains. And also it looks like we're going to get Batcave action happening.
Oh, in the Batcave. Oh, yeah. Find out where Thomas Wayne kept his porn. All right.
That's right. And that's my cougar sound effect.
Alfred, what are all these magazines?
Mr. Wayne, let me just clean up in here.
I'll just take care of this. Hold on, let me move all this stuff.
He gets a feather duster and he pushes all the magazines with the feather duster. Okay, so that's it for this week. Guys, let's stop talking about porn.
Okay.
And I guess we will talk to you next week. There will be a Fear the Walking Dead.
Yes.
Next week.
Yay.
And then Birds of Prey 12.
The penultimate Birds of Prey.
That's right. That's what we will be talking about. The third episode of Fear the Walking Dead, of which the promo pics and the description are on our Facebook page. And Birds of Prey number 12. So we'll talk to you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.